Well, we are back with the Go Home Smackdown, January 26, 2024. The Go Home Smackdown before the Royal Rumble. And I must say, Triple H is on a run of putting together lackluster Go Home shows. But if we're not talking Go Home shows, if we're talking about just the show, it was a good show. There was nothing stupid. Like WWE now is way better under Triple H, but in terms of like a go home show, like I have to see the Royal Rumble. Oh my gosh! Even though most people are, even though the Royal Rumble now sells itself, but in terms of like wow, this show made me really want to see the Rumble. Horrible. Like in terms of that, horrible. Like horrible. They actually did a pretty good job of building the Fatal Four Way, but like, I mean, over the past like month, but like I don't know, man. These go home shows, I mean, he's trying to arrest people. I can understand all that stuff, but dude, I feel like go home shows, you should be having like everyone on the show doing a bunch of backstage stuff, maybe do some in ring stuff, but it doesn't have to be a match, like no one has to actually get hurt. Like, to do like some like do some crazy threads. If there's one thing I love about fucking wrestling shows is I love those shows where there's like a thread throughout the show, like backstage segment and then another one, like, and then it like leads to some out in the ring, and then it's like, oh, like I love those threads. They could be doing those. There was not one Royal Rumble hype video on this show. They were all on Raw. That was it. It's like they thought nobody watches SmackDown, but more people watch SmackDown than Raw. So I literally have no idea. But just a like he is on a run. Like even in NXT, like this is like the same run. Like these go home shows, I would even say the ones in NXT were better because back when he was in charge of NXT, he was on the network, so you could just do a bunch of video packages. Like you didn't have people in the audience that were like there for like 3 hours. Like the people knew what they were getting at those NXT tapings. Um, you didn't have to constantly put on matches. You could just do a bunch of video packages, but yeah, just lackluster go home show. But we're gonna go through this quick because the Rumble's tomorrow, so no point in doing a deep dive. Everyone's gonna care about the Rumble more, and then this lackluster SmackDown review. So we're gonna get started. The show opens up. Lee Fitting, the new head of production, already making his stamp, and I already see a bunch of positive changes that we'll go over on the show. But we open up the show with a beautiful aerial shot of Miami and a merry-go-round. Is that what it's called? Ferris wheel, I think. I think it's called a Ferris wheel. But we open up with a beautiful nighttime shot of Miami and a nice new touch Lee Fitting is bringing in is doing superstar arrivals earlier in the day and even like right when the show starts. So we see the I can't even talk. We see the Kabuki Warriors, Caden Carter, Katana Chance, showing up earlier in the day with their suitcases, their titles, smiling, excited for tonight. And then we see the Bloodline show up without Roman, obviously, because he's never there, even, yeah. Anyways, so we see Solo Jimmy Heyman arrive. And then the show opens up with a guy, I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of his name, Elado Carrion. He's a rapper. The reason why he came out is because he made a song. His hit new single, as the announcer called it, RKO. And then he comes up to the ring and introduces his close personal friend, or his personal friend, my bad. I shouldn't be saying close. Maybe they're close. Randy Orton. Randy Orton comes out, starts talking like, we're going to talk about the Bloodline. The Bloodline had a hell of a run the past few years because Roman's held the title for 1,300 days plus. Nobody could stop them except for maybe him. He says he's going to win the Royal Rumble with the three most devastating letters in all of sports and entertainment, RKO. Then we have AJ coming out. AJ says, do you realize there's other people in the match? And he said he wanted Solo, but the guy who stepped over his body to get everything he has got in WWE so far stole the match. LA Knight, as the fans cheer along to him saying that. After Randy Orton RKO'd him last week, he says he has a receipt with his name on it. At the Royal Rumble, he'll be stepping over Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and LA Knight. And as he says LA Knight's music plays. It's perfect timing. LA Knight's music hit. LA Knight comes out to a big pop. The fans love them some LA Knight. LA Knight cuts the music, says, "Let me talk to ya." Tells AJ Styles to quit complaining, dummy. He says, "You think 24 hours before our match of the Royal Rumble, I actually want to fight Solo? It's very clear and convenient. Heyman lobbied to do everything he can to get this match, to try to soften him up, because he knows, and everybody else knows, that he's the biggest threat to Roman Reigns in that championship." To tell him when he's telling lies. Actually, some people could say it's Orton, actually. But he's not going to complain. He's going to hit Solo so hard, he'll start doing his dance moves, and he proceeds to do dance moves, and Orton giggles. I thought that was pretty funny. He says he's going to step over AJ, step over Orton and his voices, step over Roman Reigns, and become the WWE champion. And that's not an insult. That's just a fact of life. Yeah, drops the mic, leaves. Just walks out. Just came out to talk his shit and leave. AJ Styles then kicks Orton in the guts, then hits him with a Pele kick, leaves him laying, and then he starts pointing to LA Knight at the entrance like, "You motherfucker." And LA Knight's standing there like, "Oh yeah, you want, yeah, come over here, bro, whatever." And then, yeah, that segment ends. And then we have this Santos Escobar Carlito match. It was a good solid match. They gave him a commercial break. They gave him some time. Was there anything special, TV match compared to potential PLE match? Not going to be the same. So that match happens, and then Angel and Humberto come out. They start fighting LWO on the outside, and then Zelina Vega's up on the apron, and then that's when Elektra Lopez from NXT makes her debut and swipes Zelina Vega off the fucking ropes onto the ground. She's laying there, and then Carlito goes up to the ropes like, "Hey, what's going on?" Santos rolls him up, gets a pin, doesn't pull his tights, but literally just gets a pin. It's supposed to be a heel pin, I guess. He gets that win, escapes with another victory. Santos Escobar beating everyone over and over again. Everyone in the LWO is getting beat. And then they show the new Raw Netflix deal, and then they also show The Rock announcing he's a shareholder in the company. Then we have AJ Styles backstage walking with a snarl on his face. He's just always mad, bro. Like, how does your face not hurt, bro? Like, he's just walking around with, like, his face clenched, like, all angry all the time. It's like, bro, just, like, smile or just, like, release your face a bit, Something like that. And then Jimmy Uso tries to convince AJ, let's get rid of LA Knight. Like, I'll help you, do some favors. Like, it helps you, helps us, like, why not? So he's trying to convince him, and then the OC in the background walks up. Jimmy vanishes, and then Carl asks, "What was that about?" AJ Styles gets close to him and says, "Don't worry about it." And while they're looking at each other all mean, or at least AJ's looking at Carl mean, you see Mia Yim right in the middle, just batting her eyelashes, just looking all innocent, like, "Oh, okay." Then we have Nick Aldis in the office, greets Ava Raine, and man, God bless her. I'm sure she's a nice person, but even as like an on-screen personality, she just looks so uncomfortable, and it like makes me uncomfortable, because I can see how uncomfortable she is. Like, she has not gotten the hang of this at all. And yeah, so she's in the office. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits show up. Bobby Lashley draws his Royal Rumble number, shows Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis writes it down on an iPad. And then Santos and Cruz show up in the office. Lashley and him, they're face to face, have a cute little exchange. Lashley gives him a little fist on the chin, just a little nudge, just like, "I'll be seeing you around. I remember you." I completely forgot their history. Actually, I think they had a match for I think it was like a United States title tournament like a long time ago, like not this Kevin Owens one. Or actually, maybe it was. I think it was actually. I think they faced each other. and like he cheated or something. Yeah, it was like something along those lines. Anyways, so then that happens, and Santos about to pick his number. We have an awesome video package. It's a progressive match flow. Bailey showing up at the PC, then they show her just sitting there talking. And with this video package, it was so good. Like, if you did not watch any of this Bailey story over like the past 2 years, or even knew who Bailey was, it's like they like told you like the whole story. Maybe not like the part where like Io and Dakota and the whole crew are like slowly scheming on her, but they basically like told you the whole story in 2 minutes. It was awesome. Talked about Bailey's transition from her hugger character to like her character now, her vision for Damage Control, how it started to where it is now. It was fucking awesome. You guys should watch this. This was actually great. How she created Damage Control and everything. So then that happened. And then the Kabuki Warriors come out for their tag title match. We go to commercial. We come back. R-Truth is in the office, rolling the slot thing that they have with all the balls in it. The wheels on the Judgment Day go round, like he says as he's rolling the number. Nick Aldis checking his watch like, this guy needs to fucking hurry, bro. So then R-Truth picks his number. Thinks it has something to do with COVID or waiting for COVID or whatever. I was annoyed. So that happened. He showed Nick Aldis or Ava Rain, who now had the iPad, his number. They read it down. Kabuki Warriors had their match with Katana Chance, Caden Carter. I hate saying those names back to back. Caden Carter, Katana, just it's like a tongue twister, but it's not. And Katana Chance is so small, bro. Watching her try to hit the top rope to bounce off and get momentum as she's running is almost comical. I don't know why she doesn't just do what Rey Mysterio does. He just hits the middle rope. It looks cool. It's unique. Like, no one else does it. Like, her trying to hit the top rope, her arm can't even like wrap over the top rope or even reach the top rope. So when she just bounces off it, looks like it slows her down. Doesn't even look like she speeds up. And like every time she was in the ring, she's just so small, so things look so slow. I'm not sure if that's just me, but every time like Kaden Carter was in there, Kaden Carter is actually great, bro. She's like solid. Whenever she's in the ring, it was awesome. I'm not saying Katana's bad, but her being so small, like, it just looked like things were going in slow motion sometimes. But they had their match, and then at the end, Kairi Sane gives Katana Chance an Alabama slam on the outside, on the announce table, like, spine first, like, lower back. I was like, ah! And then they go back in the ring. They do some to Kaden Carter, and then Asuka gets her in, like, like that reverse neck hold, like, like almost like you're about to do a reverse impaler, and then Kairi Sane hits a insane elbow. That's their combination finisher for the win. They are the new champs. They go outside to celebrate, and it was very noticeable. Like, they showed you this. Like, at first, Asuka goes in for a hug. Bailey thinks it's for her, but Asuka goes to hug Dakota, and then Kairi comes out holding her title all happy. Bailey sticks out her arms again, but then Kairi hugs Io, and then Bailey's kind of just like, all right, but she's like still trying to be happy for them. She's clapping, and then she moves off to like the side and claps for them, and then they're all posing with the titles. And the camera shot was great because like Bailey was off to the side, and the four of them were like celebrating. And they almost kind of made the camera angle like almost cut Bailey out, but like still had her in it, so that like when they do like packages in the future, like they have an angle where like fuck Bailey's not in it. So that was all clever. I wonder when this turn with Biz is gonna happen. Maybe it might happen at the Rumble. I don't know. Yeah, actually, it could happen in the Rumble. We have Heyman backstage, talking to Solo, telling him the orders last week from the tribal chief were to fix the problem, not solve it. Solo looks at him like, okay, walks off. And then Jimmy acts all unserious like he always does. And then Heyman actually cuts this great dialogue about telling Jimmy over on Raw there's like a champion that only has one leg. Like, enter the Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble, bring the championship back to the bloodline. And then he says, the story for the tribal heir starts at the Royal Rumble, some along those lines. And Jimmy's all serious now. He's not unserious anymore. He's all serious, like, oh shit, I think about this shit. And it's so funny because Heyman said you have to enter the Royal Rumble, so it's almost like they didn't even have 30 participants. Because then later Jimmy goes and picks his number, like he was just already in it all of a sudden. So then Lashley and the Profits come out. We go into commercial. We come back. Bayley dances into Nick Aldis's office. Bianca's already in there. She picked her number. They have a sarcastic exchange. Bayley's awesome with like her small. Bayley is almost like the female Randy Orton. Like, she does so many small things great that, like, if you're watching, you notice and you appreciate so much, and it makes you like her more and more. Like, she actually is, like, low-key, like, the fucking female Randy Orton in that sense, where they just do, like, the small things extremely well, from interactions, selling, backstage promo, dialogue, interactions with everybody. It's actually really awesome. And then Bayley picks her number and does not look too happy about it. Shows Nick Aldis, writes it down. So she probably got like a number 1 or number 2 maybe. And then we have the Lashley Street Profits out. Lashley's just talking. Like, we got fucking a former Grand Slam tag champs. I'm a former U.S. Intercontinental and WWE champion. And then they call it the Final Testament. Final Testament comes out. They all stand at the entranceway, except for Scarlett, who comes down to the ring and goes face-to-face with Bobby. And Bobby does not make eye contact with her at all. She's, like, standing right in front of Bobby, just looking at Bobby. Bobby's staring over her, staring at Karrion Kross and them at the entranceway. And then Karrion goes into a long spiel. They do, like, the what chant. He, like, tells them to shut up. And then they actually start booing him. So he actually did a good job of stopping, like, the what chant. And, yeah, it actually looked like he got real heat. At the beginning of the promo, it looked like they just weren't caring because it was actually kind of silent. And then they're doing the what chants. And then once he told them, like, shut up, it's almost like they actually finally got into what he was, like, saying now. So I guess that was actually pretty good about Karrion Kross. And he's not even a bad promo. He's a really good promo. Like, he talks very well. Like, there's just nothing wrong with him. He just needs to find a way to put it all together and actually make people interested. I think that's the only problem with him. Like, he's good in the ring. He's actually a good promo. He has a good size. He has a great arm piece. Like, he has it. Just has to figure out how to put it all together. So then Street Profits and Lashley are all calling them scared. And then Karrion's like, technically we honor our agreement. We actually are face-to-face. Lashley kind of agrees. And then Lashley said, so you guys aren't going to fight tonight? Well, fuck, we're actually going to fight tonight. So then Street Profits go out of the ring to go meet them on the entranceway. Lashley is kind of in the back, walks past Scarlett, but as he goes to exit the ring to go help Street Profits fight, Scarlett hops on his back, rakes his eyes. Karrion Kross runs into the ring, hits him down. Street Profits come back in the ring. They're fighting AOP. AOP overpowers them, power bombs them. And then Lashley gets back in the ring. He starts fighting AOP, but it's just all big dudes, bro. All these dudes are just bigger than Lashley, bro. It's like he fucking met his match. They're all beating on him, and then AOP holds them, and Karrion Kross gives him the forearm from behind, leaves them laying. They leave. So then Jimmy Uso backstage, excited to pick his number, hits a yeet. And then picks his number. Instant regret. Says no yeet. And then shows his number to them. They write it down. Which means he probably got number 1, number 2, number 3. Something along those lines. Probably number 1 or number 2. It would go good for story purposes. Then Austin Theory comes out for his match with Hayes. Going into commercial. We come back. Shows LA Knight backstage in his locker room. Getting ready for his match. And then they show the KO and Logan Paul segment from last week, followed by their altercation at the PC earlier in the week, which is all over social media. Not even going to describe that, go watch it at your own will. Then we have Carmelo Hayes and Austin Theory. They had their match. You could tell they were kind of on a redemption arc after the flat finish that happened 2 weeks ago. They were out with a point to prove. Like, they were hitting crazy moves. And then near the end, Austin Theory was going for like a pinfall, and Carmelo Hayes' eyes were wide open. Like, bro, you could even squint and you can see like the ref's arms counting down. Like, he wanted to make sure he wasn't getting pinned there. Like, his eyes after he took this big move were just wide open. I'm like, nigga, close your eyes. So then that happens, and then they have like a back and forth. I roll you up, you roll me up, and then Austin Theory rolls him up, pulls his tights for the win. And then Carmelo Hayes instantly gets up. He's like, with the ref, what the heck? Grayson Waller hits him from behind. They start attacking him. And guess who makes the save? None other than Trick Williams comes out. And it's like the fans knew who he was because it was in Miami, you know. Like, you know, Florida, NXT, you know, baby. So he came out, like, fans knew who he was. He got like a main roster pop almost. Like, he came out, the fans went wild. He came in, instantly they started chanting, whoop that Trick. He clears house. Grayson Waller looks shocked up at the entrance as they're crawling away to safety. And you could even see Carmelo in the back, like, man, this guy is stole my shine again. And then he goes to a fist bump Trick Williams, and Trick Williams slowly puts his hand down. And I've been trying to find out that verbal exchange because I was on a TV with no speakers, so all the sound comes from the TV. So even if I turn it up, I can't like hear those those really small like dialogues if they do happen. So he said something to him. I think it was like some along the lines of, like, we have like a tag match on like whatever. I don't fucking know. But either way, whatever he said to Carmelo was like almost like shocked and taken aback. And then they do that camera angle where like you can see in Carmelo's face, like, I'm about to turn on this motherfucker, but it's not happening yet, but it's literally going to happen. So then that happens. They do some stuff. They do like some fucking video packages or some random stuff. And then LA Knight comes out for his match. They go to commercial. They come back. Solo comes out. You know, they have a solid match. I mean, I've already recapped how many matches these guys had. They had so many SmackDown matches. So, you know, everything was crisp. Everything was clean. And even though the fans were, like, kind of half dead for, like, half the show, kind of, you know, like the Kabuki Warriors match, like, they got into it at the end, but, you know, for the most part, kind of just, like, sitting there. For this match, you could tell they're invested because it's about being invested into the characters. They're invested in LA Knight. So, you know, because he was in that match, the fans were into it. Like, they were going along with everything he was doing. So, that was good. They just had a solid match. Really nothing wrong with it. Like, they work well off of each other. So then that happens, and then he's outside slamming Solo on the announce table, getting the yeah with every hit. And then he hits Solo with the knee. He's like, fuck talking shit. Turns around. AJ Styles flies from over the apron, hits a phenomenal forearm, throws him into the steps. Then he stands up, and Jimmy Uso is holding a chair. AJ Styles is staring at him all angry. Has that same angry face the whole entire show. Like, that's fucking talent. Whole angry face the whole entire show. So then, Jimmy drops the chair, slides it towards him, like, hey, man, you handle business. And then AJ Styles picks up the chair. He's, like, thinking about it. And then Soul comes up. He's like, hey, if you don't handle that, we're going to handle you. So then he hits Solo. He hits Jimmy. Smacks them both over the back with a chair. And then Solo goes into the ring. AJ chases after him. That's when Orton's music hits. Orton does that slow, like, jog down to the ring when he's making saves. He gets into the ring. Races to that chair with AJ Styles. Gives him an uppercut. AJ flies out the ring. Jimmy flies out of nowhere. Hits a power slam. Gives him the DDT. Has Solo outside. Hits a backdrop on Solo. And then, like, he turns around, he takes off his shirt. He sees Jimmy Uso in the ring. They make eye contact. Jimmy Uso's scared. Jimmy Uso tries to crawl away. Orton was fucking fast because like it's like the camera cut and like Orton was already like in the ring grabbing Jimmy as Jimmy was trying to escape and crawl out the ring. I was like, God damn, he pouncing there like a viper. And then he grabbed them. Jimmy's like, no, 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 please don't do this. Gives him a DDT. Gives him the vintage DDT. And then AJ comes flying in again. Tries to hit a phenomenal forearm. Hits the vintage DDT on him too. Followed by an RKO. Orton's music plays. You know, he's up on the ropes posing. They put the graphic up telling you that the show's like over. And then he turns around. LA Knight hits him with a BFT. And LA Knight's on the ground like, oh shit, I really hit that shit. He's all like, yeah. Then LA Knight's music plays. And it's like, or will LA Knight win? And the show goes off the air. And that was the Go Home show for SmackDown before the Royal Rumble. Jeez. Just a show that went by. In terms of making you more excited, I mean, it's so funny. It's almost like they're just expecting the Royal Rumble to sell itself, which it is going to. Most of the real building for the Royal Rumble is on Raw. It's almost like SmackDown was more about this Fatal 4 match, which I guess is like, in a weird way, like a nice balance, I guess. You know, like they're basically telling you whoever wins the Royal Rumble is going to be on Raw for both the female and the male. The winners are going to be on Raw. SmackDown doesn't really have a chance. But we'll do quick Rumble predictions real quick. These will take 2 minutes. There's literally 4 matches. So, Logan Paul obviously going to retain. Roman obviously going to retain. I think AJ Styles eating that pin. There's no way LA Knight's eating that pin. I'll be shocked if LA Knight eats that pin and Orton's not taking that pin either. And then for the female Royal Rumble match, it's not going to be Bayley because I think somehow she's going to be meeting up with Io at Mania. And it's not going to be Bianca because Bayley's going to be going for Io. I can't see it being Nia Jax because, man, that would be... I mean, I can. I honestly can. It's either going to be Becky or Nia. I will have to go with Becky. I'm actually going to go with Becky on this one. I think it's going to be Becky. Might be Becky and Nia last, actually. And actually, I could see Becky actually coming in like early, like a number like 5, 8, you know? Like not breaking the record, but like just being in the match long. Like I don't think she's going to come in 27, 28, 29, 30 and just win. Like they're actually going to make her earn it a bit. So I think Becky's going to win that one. And over on the other Rumble match, I think it's like almost like a foregone conclusion CM Punk wins. I don't think CM Punk's even won a Rumble yet. So I think CM Punk's going to win the Royal Rumble, honestly. Like, either that or Cody, but I think they might make Cody go through hurdles more. They might make him do Elimination Chamber. It might be like Roman's like, I don't have a match, you know? So I think it's going to be, CM Punk. Because I see the Elimination Chamber match being like a SmackDown match, and I don't know how Cody fucking gets on that show. I really don't. I mean, it's between fucking CM Punk and Cody. Like, that's like it. Like, you know, like even though the others all made like a great case, it's between CM Punk and Cody. My marbles. Because I kind of feel like they want Cody to win. Like, I was actually thinking if Cody won back-to-back years, you know, like the fans might be sick of it. But we see CM Punk saying, you know, I'm going to win the Rumble. And, like, fans are like, you know, like, we actually kind of want Cody to win. But even last year, like, anyone thinking Cody was going to win at Mania last year was crazy. It was his first year. He came in the Rumble at 27 or, like, 28. Like, didn't have to like really struggle and just win that match and win at Mania. No, you got to get through struggle, especially when you're dethroning Roman. So, God, I'm fucking talking too fast that I'm talking over myself. It's so annoying. Back and forth on that, but I'm trying to go 100 for predictions. So I'm going to go between Cody and CM Punk. I'm going to go with what makes sense for thinking about elimination. I could actually see them doing like a chamber. I could see him doing a chamber where CM Punk wins, especially if he's gonna be on the show. But like, there's also a great story. Like, if fucking Cody comes close and then he loses, like, how is he going to make it in? That story's also good. But then there's also a story where the elimination chamber match could also be on Raw, because if Cody wins, he could actually just pick his champion. Like, he can't get drafted. Like, that's like the thing that's like making me think about this. Like, Cody, like, in order to get to Roman, he has to be on SmackDown, but he's on Raw. So how does he get drafted? Like, the only way would be for him to win this match so he could pick. But CM Punk could still go through like the chamber, which he's going to be at. He was announced for, and actually do that. But it would be too easy if Cody just won. So I'm gonna say CM Punk. I'll say CM Punk. If I go 3 for 4, that's it. But I think it's just gonna be fucking CM Punk. So with that being said, guys, let's all enjoy the Rumble. Let's get ready to Rumble. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about it. I'll even talk about it on Sunday. Talk about the Rumble. Maybe it won't do a full recap, but just do my reactions. Because doing a full recap of all the entrants when, whatever, like you're at a house watching with a bunch of people, won't be able to take that many notes. So, guys, enjoy the Rumble. Comes once a year. Let's enjoy this shit. Thank you for tuning into my SmackDown review. This has been Eric, as always. Toodles.